Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're embarking on a journey really to understand ourselves a bit better.
hmm
And our guide for this, it's something actually pretty simple, wonderfully accessible journaling.
Yeah,
You, our listener, you shared a whole stack of fascinating info on this. And well, our mission today is to really pull out the most valuable insights, the key takeaways that might help illuminate your path to self-discovery.
exactly. And we're looking at journaling as um, more than just like writing down what happened today.
Right.
It's a powerful tool, simple, yeah, but powerful for introspection, for looking inward, and well, really fostering personal growth.
And what's amazing is just how accessible it is.
Totally. Whether you like, pen and paper, that tactile feel,
Yeah, I like that.
or you prefer a digital app, getting started takes like almost nothing.
And it's not just based on like feelings or anecdotes, is it? The idea that writing stuff down is good for you, there's actual research supporting it. Quite a bit, actually.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, the sources you sent over, they really highlight a whole spectrum of positive effects. We're talking easing stress, anxiety,
Mm,
promoting better sleep, even enhancing our connections with other people.
wow.
And what's really key, I think, from this material is that journaling isn't this rigid, like one-size-fits-all thing.
Hey.
There's a really rich variety of methods you can explore.
Which is great because, means you can probably find a way that really clicks for you.
Right.
So in this deep dive, we're going to explore some of these different techniques, understand their benefits, look at how journaling is used therapeutically,
Mhm.
and importantly, give some practical tips on how you can start or maybe deepen your own journaling practice for that self-discovery piece. Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with some specific techniques. First up, bullet journaling. Heard a lot about this one.
Yeah, the bullet journal, or bujo, as some call it. What's fascinating about it is how it blends different things like a diary, a planner, a to-do list into one, well, pretty adaptable system.
Yep.
It has these core bits. First, the index. Think of it like a table of contents you create as you go.
Ah, so you can actually find things again.
Exactly. Makes it easy to navigate later. No more endless flipping through pages.
That's clever. Very clever. Okay, what else?
So you've got the future log. That's for your longer term stuff.
Like appointments, months away, deadlines.
Precisely. Stuff beyond the current month. Then, the monthly log that's your bird's eye view of this month, usually a calendar page and a task list.
Got it. Calendar and tasks for the month.
And finally, the daily log. That's the nitty-gritty. Specific tasks for the day, appointments, ideas that pop up, reminders,
Yeah.
whatever happens.
It sounds really streamlined, like everything important in one spot. And I think I read about something called rapid logging. Is that part of it?
Yes. Rapid logging is sort of the engine of the bullet journal's efficiency. It's basically shorthand.
Okay.
You use simple bullet points and little symbols, signifiers, to capture info quickly. Like a dot might be a task, a circle an event, a dash for just a note.
Quick and concise.
Keeps it brief and clear. Yeah.
I can see the appeal. Okay, the sources also mentioned collections. That sounds interesting, like where you make it your own.
Collections are absolutely where the personalization shines. They're
Yeah.
just dedicated pages or sections for, well, anything specific you want.
Like what?
Could be anything. Tracking books to read, monitoring a habit you're working on, planning a trip, brainstorming project ideas.
Ah, yeah.
It lets the journal adapt completely to your needs, your interests,
Yeah.
which, makes it a really potent tool for self-discovery too, because you're tracking what actually matters to you.
That makes total sense. It's not just tasks. It's, well, anything you want to explore or keep track of. So if someone's listening and thinking, okay, maybe I'll try this, where do they start?
The sources suggest keeping it simple initially. First step, just pick a notebook you like, something that feels good to use.
Okay.
Then maybe take a beat to think about your intentions. Like, what do you want to organize? What are you hoping to track or explore? Starting there helps guide how you set up those first pages.
Okay, manageable. I like that. All right, let's switch gears a bit. Another technique that comes up a lot. Gratitude journaling. Seems simple, but the benefits sound pretty big.
It is straightforward, yeah, but the research, it consistently points to some really significant upsides. Gratitude journaling is basically uh, just deliberately, regularly writing down things you're thankful for.
Just that.
Just that intentional act. And it's linked to some genuinely positive outcomes.
Like what specifically? The info you shared mentioned a few things that really stood out.
Well, for starters, it's associated with just overall increased happiness, a better sense of well-being.
Okay.
Interestingly, it can also help improve sleep quality. and reduce stress levels noticeably.
Better sleep and less stress. Sign me up.
Right. And it doesn't stop there. Some studies suggest cultivating gratitude might even play a role in better physical health and more positive relationships.
Yeah.
It seems like focusing on appreciation just shifts your whole perspective.
Wow. All that from just noting down what you're grateful for.
Ah.
That's actually quite powerful. Are there ways to make it more effective? Any tips?
Yeah, the sources offer some really good pointers. One key thing is to be specific.
Okay, so not just I'm thankful for my friends.
Right. Maybe try describing a specific time a friend helped you out or something kind they did. Detail makes it resonate more. Another tip, prioritize depth over breadth,
Meaning,
meaning like really reflecting deeply on one or two things might be more impactful than just rattling off a long kind of superficial list.
I get it. Really feel the gratitude, don't just list things.
Exactly. And making it personal, focusing on people who've made a positive difference, that can be really powerful too.
Mhm.
And finally, perhaps, obviously, regularity is key. Whether it's daily or just a few times a week, doing it consistently helps build that grateful outlook over time. That's where the lasting benefits for, self-perception and well-being really come from.
Those are great, actionable tips. Really helpful. Okay, let's shift again. Stream of consciousness rating. This sounds looser, more freeform.
It definitely is. Stream of consciousness writing is, well, it's all about just letting your thoughts flow onto the page
Okay.
continuously. No specific prompts, no real agenda,
So writing.
pretty much.
Oh,
Capturing that natural, often messy, non-linear way our minds actually work. A famous example is morning pages.
oh yeah, I've heard of those. Julia Cameron, right. 3 pages, first thing in the morning, just whatever's in your head.
That's the idea. And the benefits of this kind of unfiltered writing, they can be pretty profound for self-discovery. It's a really powerful way for self-expression.
Mhm.
You're articulating inner thoughts, feelings, without that filter, without editing as you go. It can also help you tap into subconscious thoughts, stuff hiding beneath the surface.
It sounds like a way to kind of sneak past that inner critic we all seem to have.
Exactly.
Th-
And because it is so unfiltered, it's great for emotional release, a cathartic outlet for processing difficult or tangled feelings.
Mhm.
The sheer freedom of it can also really foster creativity. Unexpected connections, new ideas can bubble up when you're not trying to steer things.
Right.
And importantly, it can help overcome self-criticism because the focus is just on the act of writing, not on whether it's good writing.
That sounds incredibly liberating, actually. So it's less about crafting something perfect and more about just being with your thoughts and letting them out.
Precisely. It's the process, the exploration, not the finished product. Now, we've dived into a few main techniques, but the sources you shared, they make it clear there are, gosh, so many other ways to journal.
Yeah, it really feels like a whole universe of different styles.
It truly is. Like reflective journaling. That's about looking back at experiences, pondering them to get deeper insights into your patterns, your beliefs, how you react to things.
Okay.
Daily journaling is just what it sounds like, regular entries about your day, your feelings. Simple, but effective. Art or visual journaling is cool, combines drawing, collage, visual stuff with written thoughts.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. Goal journaling is super focused on articulating goals, planning steps, tracking progress. Dream journaling, recording your dreams, maybe analyzing them. And unsent letter journaling.
Unsent letters.
Yeah, writing letters to people to process emotions, maybe about conflicts or unresolved feelings, but you don't actually send them. It's purely for your own processing.
Wow, that sounds intense, but potentially really useful.
Definitely. And the list goes on. People journal about intuition, music, memories, tarot readings, nature experiences, even food journaling to track eating habits and related feelings.
It's incredible how broad it is.
It really just hammers home that journaling is so personal, so adaptable. You can tailor it to pretty much any part of your life or interest to, help with that self-discovery. We could almost summarize these in a table, really technique, description, benefits.
That's a great overview of the options. Now, one area that I found really compelling in the sources was using journaling for goal setting. It's not just navel-gazing, right? It can be really forward-looking, action-oriented.
Absolutely. That's a crucial point. Journaling takes those aspirations, which can often feel a bit cuzzy.
Yeah, vague ideas.
Right. And it helps solidify them into something tangible. Just the act of writing your goals down brings incredible clarity. You have to actually articulate what you want, and maybe more importantly for motivation, why you want it. Understanding that why.
It's like you said, taking something abstract and making it concrete just by putting it on paper. or screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And get this, the sources you shared point to research showing that physically writing down your goals makes you significantly more likely to achieve them compared to just thinking about them.
Really? Just writing them down.
Yeah, it seems to create a stronger commitment, a stronger intention in the brain or something.
That's a powerful motivator right there. Okay, so beyond just setting the goals, how does journaling help you actually reach them?
Well, it becomes this amazing tool for tracking progress and maintaining accountability.
Ah,
Regular entries let you document milestones, small wins, but also challenges you hit, adjustments you make to your plan. It's a record of your journey, keeps you aware of momentum or where you might need to refocus.
so it's like a built-in progress report and accountability buddy all rolled into one.
That's a great way to put it. And to make it even more effective, the sources recommend using the SMART goals framework within your journaling.
Smart, specific, measurable.
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Yeah. Thinking through those elements as you journal about your goals makes them super clear, really actionable, boosts your chances of success.
That's really practical, using a known structure within that personal journaling space. And I noticed there were specific prompts, too, for goal setting.
Yes, definitely. Prompts can be great starting points if you're stuck. Things like, what do I really want to achieve this year? Or what are my top 3 priorities this month? Or even more exploratory ones like, if I had a magic wand, what one thing would I achieve? Questions like that really push you to dig deep into your aspirations and start thinking about concrete steps.
Those are fantastic for getting the ball rolling. Okay, let's shift to another area where journaling seems super helpful, problem solving. We all hit roadblocks. How can writing help us figure things out?
Journaling offers this structured way to tackle problems. Helps you organize your thoughts, first off, gain clarity on what's actually going on.
Right.
When you write a problem down, you articulate your concerns more coherently. And sometimes, just doing that reveals underlying issues you hadn't quite grasped before.
It's like taking a tangled ball of yarn in your head and laying the threads out straight so you can see them properly.
Exactly like that. And once it's on paper, the journal becomes this safe space to explore different angles, brainstorm solutions without any pressure.
Yeah, no judgment.
No judgment. The sources mention brain dumping, just writing down every thought about the problem, no matter how wild or irrelevant it seems at first.
Okay.
That can really shake loose possibilities you wouldn't normally consider.
Sounds like a good way to get unstuck. Just get everything out there.
Totally. Another technique highlighted is the 5 whys. Have you heard of that?
I think so. Isn't that used in, like, manufacturing or business to find root causes?
It is, but it works just as well for personal problems. You just keep asking why
Yeah.
in response to the problem. Maybe 5 times, maybe more.
Ah, to dig deeper.
Yeah, it forces you to go beyond the surface symptoms and really get to the root cause of the issue.
That makes perfect sense. Get to the real problem.
And a huge advantage, as you kind of hinted at before, is the emotional detachment journaling offers. Getting it out of your head and onto the page lets you step back a bit.
Right. Gain some perspective.
Yeah, see it more objectively, more rationally, instead of just reacting emotionally. That often leads to clearer, better solutions you might miss when you're feeling overwhelmed.
It's like accessing a calmer, more logical part of yourself through writing. And again, I saw prompts listed specifically for problem solving.
Yes, those are designed to guide that process.
Yeah.
Questions like, okay, what exactly is the problem here? What are all the possible solutions, even the crazy ones? What have I tried already, and how did that go? And, crucially, what's one small thing I can do today to move forward?
Actionable.
Yeah, they encourage a structured, solution-focused approach when you're facing challenges.
Incredibly useful framework when you feel stuck. Okay, let's pivot to another vital aspect of self-discovery. Understanding and managing our emotions. How does journaling fit into emotional regulation?
Well, journaling provides a structured and safe space to identify, explore, and ultimately navigate our emotions, which can often feel pretty messy, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The act of writing about feelings helps with identification. You start to pinpoint what you're actually feeling, and then you can begin to see patterns, maybe triggers for those feelings.
It's like giving a name to that big, fuzzy feeling, which itself can be really powerful. Like, oh, this is anxiety, or that's disappointment.
Precisely. Naming it takes away some of its vague power, and the journal is this private, non-judgmental zone for processing and releasing those pent-up emotions. The sources mentioned expressive writing, again here, just writing continuously about your deepest thoughts and feelings on something. It can be incredibly cathartic.
Just letting it all out.
Yeah. Another interesting technique is emotion mapping. Ever heard of that?
No, what's
It's
that?
where you describe your current emotional state almost
Hmm.
like as a physical place.
Mm.
What's the weather like there? What colors do you see? What does it feel like?
Oh, wow. That's creative. So, like, today my anger feels like a volcano about to erupt, or my sadness feels like a gray, foggy landscape.
Exactly like that. It offers a different, maybe more embodied way to understand your feelings. And doing this kind of emotional journaling consistently, it really fosters self-awareness and emotional intelligence.
How so?
Over time, you just start recognizing your own patterns, your triggers better, and you naturally begin to develop healthier ways to cope with difficult or intense emotions.
So it's not just about venting in the moment, it's about building this deeper understanding of your emotional world and learning better ways to respond over time.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
And I assume prompts for this too.
you got it. Prompts designed to help you dive into that emotional landscape. Things like, what specific emotion am I feeling right now? Where do I feel this in my body? What thoughts or events might have triggered this? And importantly, what does this emotion need from me right now? What's a healthy way to respond?
That last one is key.
Yeah, it encourages connecting with your feelings on a deeper level, fostering self-compassion and better management strategies.
These sound incredibly valuable for building that emotional literacy we all need. Okay, let's move into something that really highlights the more purposeful, almost formal applications, the therapeutic side of writing.
Right. The sources really emphasize how writing goes beyond just personal reflection and offers real therapeutic benefits for mental and emotional health. A big one is processing trauma.
That sounds incredibly important. How does writing actually help with something as significant as trauma? Well, expressive writing, like we've discussed, has shown real value here. Research suggests it can help alleviate symptoms of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. A key part of this is emotional disclosure,
Meaning,
meaning openly acknowledging and expressing those really difficult, often painful emotions tied to the traumatic event, but doing it in that safe, contained way that writing allows.
okay, so giving voice to things that might feel too overwhelming to speak about otherwise, maybe?
Exactly. And writing also helps create a more coherent narrative around the trauma. By
Mm.
putting the experience into words, structuring it, you can start to integrate it into your life story. Find some meaning, perhaps.
Yeah.
And that can reduce the intensity and frequency of those intrusive, fragmented memories.
That makes so much sense, weaving it into your story instead of it being this isolated, terrifying event that keeps replaying. Okay. And the therapeutic benefits also extend to creativity?
Yes, absolutely. Whether it's journaling, poetry, stories, writing unlocks creativity.
Mm.
And that creative process itself can be therapeutic.
Mm.
It lets you explore complex emotions or difficult themes in a more abstract, imaginative way. Gives you maybe a bit of distance, a sense of control over challenging material through metaphor or narrative.
Right, using creativity as a way to process things that might be too hard to face head on.
Precisely. And ultimately, just the consistent practice of writing whatever technique you use really contributes to overall mental well-being. The sources point to study after study linking regular writing to reduce stress, less anxiety, even fewer symptoms of depression.
Mm.
It just provides this steady outlet for self-expression, emotional processing, reflection. All adds up to greater emotional balance, maybe even a bit more inner peace.
It's truly remarkable, isn't it, how this seemingly simple act, pen to paper, fingers to keyboard, can have such a deep and varied impact on our mental and emotional health. Now, to really drive this home, the sources also shared some really inspiring real-life stories, examples of transformation.
Yeah, those personal accounts are so powerful. They really show the potential. We heard about people using journaling to quiet that constant mental noise, gain clarity. One person even ended up writing an ebook from their reflections.
Wow.
Others found it helped sharpen their focus, allow them to take more decisive action towards their goals.
I remember reading about someone who tracked the recurring worries alongside their goals in their journal, and that gave them so much self-awareness, helped them make better decisions.
Exactly. And for many, journaling literally became a sanctuary during tough times, a safe place to process, gain perspective, even come up with new strategies to cope and succeed. Lots of people also talked about cultivating a more positive mindset through gratitude journaling, using it specifically for stress management.
And it wasn't just about challenges or goals, right? There were stories of people finding their voice again through writing,
Hmm.
processing really painful experiences healthfully, even uncovering hidden unconscious beliefs that were holding them back. Someone called it their personal therapy.
Absolutely. These stories just powerfully illustrate the diverse, deeply personal ways journaling can spark significant growth, healing, and well-being. It's not magic, obviously, but it's undeniably a potent, accessible tool for self-understanding, resilience, and just growth.
It's so encouraging to hear those examples. Okay, so for listeners who are feeling inspired now, thinking, all right, I want to try this,
Right.
what are some practical first steps? How do you actually get started?
Yes, starting can feel like the biggest hurdle, can it? But the sources offer some really straightforward, non-scary advice. First, find a quiet, comfortable space,
Okay.
somewhere you won't be interrupted, where you feel at ease, your little journaling spot.
Creates a bit of a ritual, maybe.
Exactly. Second, set aside dedicated time, even just 5 or 10 minutes a day to start. Consistency, especially early on, is often more important than length.
Right, build the habit.
Third, choose a method that actually appeals to you. Don't feel you have to do bullet journaling. If stream of consciousness sounds more fun, experiment. See what clicks.
So it's okay to try different things out.
Totally. Fourth, write freely, without judgment. Seriously, this is for you. Don't worry about perfect grammar or amazing insights. Just let it flow.
Lego perfectionism. Got it.
Fifth, if you stare at the blank page and freeze, use prompts. Loads are available online, in books. They just give you a starting point.
Good backup plan.
Sixth, think about the format. Physical notebook, app on your phone. Maybe even audio or video journaling works better for you. Choose what fits your life.
True, lots of options now.
And finally, just remember, consistency really is key, especially at the beginning. Short, regular entries add up over time. Don't aim for perfection, just aim for showing up.
Those are all such great, reassuring tips.
Yeah.
Really makes it feel doable. So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's crystal clear that journaling is way more than just writing down what you had for lunch.
Absolutely. It's this incredibly versatile, really potent tool for self-discovery. So many techniques, so many benefits for goals, problems, emotions, therapy, overall well-being.
And as we've heard, the real-life impact can be huge, and getting started is actually pretty simple. It's not about being perfect, it's about starting that journey, embracing the process.
Exactly. So we'd really encourage you, our listener, to think of journaling not as like another chore,
Right.
but more as this ongoing, really enriching journey of exploring yourself, reflecting, and just continually evolving.
Couldn't agree more. And on that note, here's a final thought for you to mull over. What's just one small aspect of yourself, maybe one little curiosity or question you have about who you are or who you want to become that you might like to explore a bit more deeply through journaling? Maybe starting today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into journaling for self-discovery.